Virgo, tonight, under the radiant light of the October 10th supermoon, destiny itself begins to move in your favor. This is not just another night in the sky, this is a portal. A harvest moon that opens a sacred timeline, one you've prayed for, waited for, and almost gave up on. For 20 years of studying cosmic energies, I have never seen such a concentrated force upon one sign as what's happening to Virgo right now. It's as if the universe has chosen you to be both witness and vessel of something extraordinary.
Can you feel it?
That quiet stirring inside your chest, the sense that something vast and unseen is shifting?
That's destiny whispering your name.
Tonight, Virgo, the energies are rewriting the script of your life. The seasons of delay are ending. The weight you've carried, emotional, karmic, ancestral, is about to turn into your power. This moon doesn't just illuminate the sky, it illuminates you. If lately you've been seeing 1111, feeling waves of emotion, or waking up at 3 a.m. with your heart racing, it's not random. It's resonance. You're syncing with the frequency of divine correction. Because what once felt like collapse was never punishment, it was preparation. This energy will not return again for years. And that's why you were guided here, not by chance, but by design. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal 3 miracles that will rewrite your fate. 3 alignments that mark the rebirth of your soul's timeline. So stay with me until the very end, because this isn't a prediction, it's a turning point. Before we begin, take a deep breath. If you're new here, welcome to Mindfulness Meditation, a space where cosmic wisdom meets soul awakening. If this message resonates, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Your presence helps us bring more light to this world.
It's here. It's happening.
Let's step through the portal together. Miracle 1. The veil lifts. Under the radiant light of the October 10th supermoon, something begins to stir in the quiet corridors of Virgo's soul. It's subtle at first, a pressure at the crown of your head, a tremor in your hands, a pulse of energy running through your spine. You think it's exhaustion, or maybe emotion, but it isn't. It's awakening. Because tonight, the veil thins. Not just between worlds, but between illusion and truth. For months, maybe years, you've walked through fog, trying to make sense of relationships that drained you, careers that no longer fit, dreams that once defined you but now feel like borrowed clothes. You've been loyal to stories that kept you small. You've built castles on clouds of old identity. But this supermoon doesn't negotiate with illusions.
It pierces them. And as it does, you begin to see.
The truth doesn't arrive politely, it arrives like lightning. It doesn't ask for permission. It burns away everything false until only what's real can survive.
That's why it hurts.
That's why the nights feel long and the heart feels raw, because what's being taken from you was never meant to stay. And yet, Virgo, this is not punishment.
It's preparation.
The universe isn't tearing you apart, it's tuning you. Like a sacred instrument, you're being calibrated to a higher frequency. Every shiver, every burst of emotion, every sleepless night is your soul remembering its power. You're not losing control, you're reclaiming your alignment. There's a moment in every transformation when the light feels too bright to bear. When the mirror turns toward you and reveals what you refuse to see, the part of you that still tries to fix others while neglecting your own healing, the part that seeks peace even in chaos because it's familiar. The supermoon shines directly into that place. It's not judging you. It's liberating you.
It's saying, look, this is where the lie lived. This is where you forgot yourself. And in that seeing, you begin to breathe differently.
You realize that not everyone meant to walk beside you can continue the journey. Not every dream was meant to last forever. And not every version of you deserves to survive this rebirth. Because rebirth demands sacrifice. And what you're shedding now, the masks, the guilt, the self-doubt, those are not losses. They're offerings. You offer them to the fire of transformation, trusting that what remains will be truer, lighter, unbreakable. Somewhere deep within you, memory stirs. A memory older than this lifetime, of other nights, other moons, when you two stood at the edge of change.
You've done this before.
You've crossed this kind of threshold many times across centuries of soul experience. That's why the pain feels sacred, almost familiar.
Because it is.
You are not new to awakening, Virgo.
You are only remembering how to see.
The supermoon doesn't ask for fear. It asks for surrender. It asks you to trust that the dismantling is divine design. That your confusion is not chaos, it's alchemy. The relationships fading now, the silence between conversations, the tension in your chest, all of it is energy shifting form. People leave because their frequency no longer matches yours. Plans collapse because they were written in an outdated script. And your body trembles because it senses what your mind cannot yet comprehend. You are being rewritten. I want you to imagine this, the moon above as a sacred mirror, not reflecting your face, but your essence. You stand beneath it, eyes closed, feeling that silver light pass through your skin like water. Every drop dissolves one illusion. I am unworthy. Gone. I must be needed to be loved. Gone. I have to hold it all together. Gone. When you open your eyes again, something has shifted. The world looks the same, but it doesn't feel the same. Because you are no longer observing life through the veil of survival, you're seeing through the eyes of soul. And that, Virgo, is the first miracle. The miracle of revelation. The moment when darkness stops being the enemy and becomes the teacher. The moment when you realize the collapse was never your ending, it was the portal. There is a sacred intelligence in the dismantling. Everything that's being removed from your path is making room for something exact, something true. The person you're becoming cannot fit into the life you once had. The vibration you're stepping into requires a cleaner field, clearer boundaries, deeper stillness, radical trust. This is the cosmic surgery of the soul. Precise, painful, but perfect. And as the veil lifts, you begin to recognize that your pain has purpose. You were never broken. You were being refined. And every loss, every shock, every moment of doubt was the hand of the divine sculpting you into alignment with your original blueprint. So if you find yourself trembling tonight, if your heart feels like it's both breaking and opening at once, don't resist it. Don't rush to fix it. Just breathe. Let the moonlight touch the parts of you that ache. Because that ache is sacred. It's the sound of the veil dissolving. And when it's gone, what remains is truth. Pure. Unapologetic. Uncompromising. You'll look back on this night and realize the revelation didn't destroy you. It revealed you. This is not punishment. It's preparation. The veil lifts, Virgo, and beneath it, you finally see yourself as you were always meant to be, whole, radiant, and free. Miracle 2. Alignment. There comes a moment after every revelation when the air itself feels rearranged, when you wake up one morning and realize that the world hasn't changed, but your place in it has. Virgo, this is that moment. The veil has fallen, and now the universe begins to move its silent hands. One by one, the pieces of your life start to shift. Conversations that never happened before suddenly take place, doors that were sealed tight begin to creak open, and people you thought were gone forever find their way back into your orbit. It feels too precise to be random. And that's because it isn't. This is alignment. The second miracle. The invisible choreography of destiny as it arranges your reality to match the frequency of your new truth. At first, alignment doesn't feel like harmony, it feels like chaos. The job that once made sense collapses. The friendship that was built on convenience crumbles. The plans that you crafted with so much care seem to disintegrate overnight. And yet, if you listen closely beneath the noise, there's a pattern. Like the movements of constellations above, unseen but exact. Because what's falling apart isn't your life, it's your misalignment. Alignment often begins with chaos. The universe dismantles what can't carry your new vibration. It removes what's expired, sometimes abruptly, because if it left the decision to you, you'd hold on forever. That's the mercy behind the madness. That's the divine trade, the cosmic exchange. You lose what's heavy, and in its place, you gain what's holy. In the days that follow, strange things begin to happen. You look at the clock and it's 11:11 again. You think of someone and they text you. A random stranger says exactly what you needed to hear. Numbers repeat. Signs align. It's not coincidence. It's conversation. The universe is speaking in its native tongue. Synchronicity. And you, Virgo, are finally tuned to listen. These signs are not meant to impress you. They are meant to instruct you. They tell you that your energy field is stabilizing, that you've moved from resistance into flow. They whisper, you're in the right place. Keep trusting. The old Virgo used to analyze every sign, dissect every pattern, needing logic to prove what the heart already knew. But now, logic bows to intuition. This is not the age of reasoning. This is the age of resonance. There's a deeper truth I've learned in 20 years of studying cosmic alignment. Before the universe gives you what you want, it must remove who you are not. So when things vanish, when people exit without warning, when money stalls, when silence stretches where there used to be noise, do not panic. That emptiness isn't absence, it's architecture. The divine is clearing space for symmetry. You are being placed where you truly belong, not according to preference, but to purpose. And purpose has its own rhythm. It doesn't rush, it unfolds. So when you see 222, remember, the balance is being restored. When you see 555, remember, change isn't loss, it's liberation. And when you see 1111, remember, it's the gateway, your confirmation that destiny has caught up with your frequency. There's something holy about watching your life rearrange itself. The very things you used to chase begin to drift toward you, not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. You don't need to knock on every door anymore. The right one opens. You don't need to prove your worth anymore. The right people recognize it. You don't need to beg for love anymore. The love meant for you can finally find you. Because you've stopped living by effort and started living by energy. And energy never lies. The more authentic your frequency, the more magnetic your reality becomes. That's the secret most people miss. You don't attract by wanting. You attract by becoming. The moment you honor your truth, life responds in kind. Look back for a moment, not with regret, but with reverence.
Can you see the pattern now?
How the doors that closed were never punishment, but protection. How the delays were not denials, but divine timing. Every detour was part of your realignment. Every heartbreak was a recalibration. You were never off track. You were simply being redirected. The universe doesn't make mistakes. It rearranges. And in that rearranging, it reveals what's always been yours. You are now stepping into a different kind of power, Virgo. One that doesn't demand control, but commands trust. You are learning that destiny isn't something you chase. It's something you collaborate with. When you surrender the illusion of control, you activate the miracle of co-creation. You begin to see life not as a series of random events, but as a masterpiece unfolding in perfect time. And the more you trust, the smoother the current becomes. Doors open with less effort. Conversations flow with grace.
You stop forcing, and you start allowing.
Because alignment is not about doing more, it's about being right where you're meant to be. Tonight, if you feel a strange calm after the storm, that's the sign. The pieces have found their place. The noise has softened into music. The chaos has turned into choreography. You are not lost anymore, Virgo. You are located, perfectly, precisely, powerfully. So the next time you see those repeating numbers, don't just smile, acknowledge them. Whisper to the sky, I see the pattern.
I trust the process.
Because this is not coincidence. It's confirmation. The universe is not against you. It's arranging itself for you. And the moment you align with its rhythm, Virgo, you stop chasing what was never yours, and begin attracting what has always been waiting for you. Miracle 3. The rebirth of Virgo, when the higher self takes the throne. When rebirth arrives, it rarely announces itself with fanfare. It comes quietly, like dawn after a long night, like breath returning to a soul that forgot it could exhale. For Virgo, this is not the beginning of a new chapter. It's the rewriting of the book itself. Every cell in your body, every thought in your mind, every beat of your heart is aligning with the frequency of your higher self. The version of you that once doubted, questioned, analyzed everything to exhaustion, she's dissolving now, not in defeat, but in deliverance. What's left is pure awareness. A consciousness unburdened by proof. You're entering what mystics call the quantum flow, the sacred current where thought and manifestation merge into one seamless rhythm. You don't force outcomes anymore.
You become them.
This is the great paradox of awakening. When you stop chasing, the universe begins to chase you. The moment you let go of control, reality starts organizing itself in your favor. What you used to pray for now recognizes you as its match. There's something profoundly humbling about this stage of rebirth. Because the Virgo soul, so devoted to service, perfection, and meaning, must learn the art of divine ease.
It's not about doing more, but about allowing more.
The higher self doesn't hustle, it harmonizes. It doesn't strive, it flows. It doesn't seek validation, it radiates truth so effortlessly that recognition becomes inevitable. In this higher vibration, divine downloads begin to arrive. You might call them insights, sudden clarity, or gut feelings.
But they are more than that. They are transmissions from the part of you that's already whole. The universe is no longer outside whispering signs. It's inside, speaking through your intuition, your creativity, your quiet knowing. This is how the higher self emerges, not as a voice shouting from above, but as a remembering from within. And soon, you'll begin to notice others finding you. Souls who feel like déjà vu, connections that bypass logic. These are your soul tribe, the ones written in your timeline long before you were born. You recognize each other not through words, but through resonance. They see the divine blueprint in you because it mirrors their own. This reunion isn't random. It's the confirmation that your frequency has changed. You no longer attract from wounds, but from wisdom. As this rebirth deepens, there's a subtle yet profound realization. You are no longer the seeker. You have become the signal. The world doesn't need you to prove your light, it needs you to be it. Every act of grace, every choice rooted in integrity, every moment you choose peace over panic, these are frequencies broadcast across timelines. Your life becomes a transmission, a living prayer. From a psychological lens, this is the transition from self-improvement to self-realization. The Virgo archetype often carries the weight of fixing, healing, and organizing what's broken. But the higher self knows that nothing is broken, only forgotten. The healing you once pursued outside now happens through your mere presence. When you are aligned with your true essence, others around you begin to align too. You stop correcting and start inspiring. And perhaps that's the true miracle, the quiet power of becoming. You realize that enlightenment isn't an escape from the human experience, but a full embrace of it. You still feel, still love, still ache, but from a space of witnessing rather than drowning. The pain that once felt personal now becomes purposeful. You understand why every detour, heartbreak, and silence had to happen. They weren't punishments, they were initiations. In this new energy, manifestation accelerates because you're no longer split between desire and doubt. The mind and the soul finally agree. The conflict between what if and what is dissolves, leaving you in the field of infinite potential. This is the divine equilibrium where creation happens instantly, not because you demand it, but because you're in harmony with it. The rebirth of Virgo is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been, the alchemist of the unseen, the guardian of divine order, the silent architect of light. You are the bridge between heaven and earth, the translator of chaos into meaning. And as your higher self takes the throne, the entire cosmos reconfigures around your new vibration. So breathe deeply, Virgo. The chase is over. The arrival has begun. You've crossed the threshold from seeker to signal, from longing to embodiment, from faith to knowing. And now, the universe bows, not in worship, but in recognition. Because finally, you remember what it means to be home in yourself. The full circle blessing, Virgo's sacred completion. There comes a moment when the circle closes, not in ending, but in revelation. For Virgo, this is the divine hour when all the pieces finally fit, when every unanswered prayer begins to whisper its reason, when the soul that has walked through shadow now stands in the light it once searched for. This isn't just closure, it is consecration. The three miracles, revelation, alignment, and rebirth, were never separate events, but movements of one grand symphony composed by heaven itself. What began as confusion now returns as clarity. What once felt like delay now reveals itself as precision. Every heartbreak, every waiting season, every unanswered question was not punishment, but choreography, a sacred design unfolding with exact timing. The Virgo soul, refined by trial, now understands. Nothing was wasted. Every wound was a doorway, every silence a sermon. This is the divine paradox of the full circle blessing. You were never being broken, you were being built. There is a rare kind of peace that settles into the heart once you've touched the edge of despair and found grace waiting there. It's not the peace that denies the storm, but the peace that stands unshaken within it. Virgo, this is where you are now. The alignment of your life was not born from control, but surrender. You no longer force the tide, you move with it. You have learned that destiny isn't something to chase, it's something to remember. The higher self, once a distant ideal, now speaks through your every breath. You've crossed the bridge from striving to knowing, from analysis to embodiment. You've learned that wisdom doesn't come from avoiding the dark, but from walking through it with open eyes. And now, as you look back at your path, you can see the architecture of grace. Every detour led to this divine arrival. The people who left were never meant to stay beyond their assignment. The losses carved space for truth to enter. The delays trained your discernment. The heartbreak deepened your compassion. You see now that what felt like chaos was sacred choreography. The universe was never against you, it was conspiring to refine you. That's what the higher realms call the law of divine symmetry. The assurance that everything returns to balance in its own time. This is the hour of completion, Virgo, not because everything outside is perfect, but because you've made peace with imperfection. You've realized that healing isn't about erasing the past, it's about sanctifying it. You no longer look for miracles as proof of your worth, you are the miracle. When you love with the wisdom of one who has lost. When you speak with the authority of one who has been silenced and found her voice again. That is divine mastery, the quiet, steady radiance that comes only after the storm. In this sacred completion, a call arises from within you, a whisper that feels older than time itself. It's not a command, but an invitation. If this message resonates in your heart, speak your declaration. I am ready to receive my miracle. I am aligned with my highest destiny. Say it not as a plea, but as remembrance. Because what you declare now isn't a request, it's a recognition. The universe responds to those who remember who they are. The angels do not rush to those who beg, they align with those who believe. And as you speak these words, something ancient within you stirs. You realize that the blessing was never waiting to descend from the sky, it was waiting to rise from within. The moonlight doesn't choose where to shine, it responds to reflection. And Virgo, you have become that reflection, the living mirror of divine order. You are no longer under the moon, you are of it. The same light that once guided you now emanates from your own being. This is the essence of the full circle blessing, the realization that the divine was never somewhere else. The miracles were never postponed, they were simply maturing within you. You are the answered prayer of your ancestors, the fulfilled prophecy of your own past selves. You've returned to the center, but now with the wisdom of the edges. You've come home, not to a place, but to yourself. So tonight, as the October 10th moon rises, step outside. Let the light touch your face, not as a seeker, but as one who has been found. You don't need to chase alignment anymore, it's already yours. The moon will not judge the years you spent in doubt, it will simply recognize your glow. Because this time, the light doesn't just shine on you, it shines from you. Look up tonight and let the moonlight touch your face, Virgo. Because it isn't shining for the world, it's shining for you. And now, Virgo, as the October 10th supermoon completes its orbit above you, the circle closes, not in silence, but in illumination. The three miracles have fulfilled their promise. Revelation has stripped away illusion. Alignment has rearranged your world in divine order. And rebirth, it has already begun pulsing through your veins. What was once hidden has been revealed. What once felt distant is now within reach. You are no longer walking toward your destiny, you are standing inside it. Tonight, pause beneath the same silver sky that has watched over you through every rise and fall. Breathe deeply, and feel the quiet confirmation in the air. The work is done. The old timelines have collapsed, and your soul now hums at the rhythm of divine truth. You are not the same one who began this journey. You are the awakened one, the keeper of light, the voice of calm after the storm. Now, it is your turn to speak. Say it out loud, not as a wish, but as a decree. I am ready to receive my miracle. I am aligned with my highest destiny. Let these words become your offering to the universe. They are not mere sounds, they are frequency, power, command. With each syllable, the veil between worlds thins, and energy moves to meet your intention. You are no longer the seeker, Virgo. You have become the signal. You are not losing anything. You are becoming everything you were born to be. Around you, the unseen gather, your angels, ancestors, and spirit guides, standing in a perfect circle of light, witnessing your ascension. They have waited lifetimes for this exact moment, for you to remember who you are. And now, as moonlight touches your skin, they whisper through the wind, you did it. You are home. Look up, Virgo. The same moon that once reflected your pain now mirrors your power. Nothing was wasted. Every tear, every ending, every silence was alignment in disguise. This is your full circle moment, the closing of one era and the beginning of another. Rise gently. Walk forward in grace. And remember, the moon is not shining for the world tonight, it's shining for you.